Hello and welcome to Conquering Mount Scrapmore. Today I'm Brenda, and I have on today's show a guest, Mona from Mona Did What. Now she's a fellow YouTuber, and we have been following each other. Now Mona is also part of the Facebook group there that we have from Conquering Mount Scrapmore, and she does some lovely comments and cheers people on, and it's all sorts of fun, right? So Mona, so nice to see you here today. Thank you so much for coming and doing this with me. And
Well, thanks for having me.
yeah, that's good. That's good. So as YouTubers, I don't know if you do this. I don't have a lot of time to watch other channels anymore because it's just life is busy. Being a grandma and a wife and having two adult children and all the other things that you're trying to do, like I don't get a chance to do. So I'm going to ask you some questions about your YouTube channel if you're okay with that, right? Just to find out
Okay.
what's going on in your channel and introduce you to my subscribers, right? So what's your up and coming on your channel? What have you got up and coming? What plans have you got for the future here?
Okay, we just finished up the Cup of Love sew along. I have the afternoon tea to finish. I haven't
Yeah.
finished that yet. And then I'm going to be starting some bags and have a few bag making sessions, some on camera, some off. And then I have something planned for July, which I'm not going to divulge.
Oh, a secret. You have a secret in July. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. Most of the time on our lives, we just get together and sew. We never know what we're going to sew, or we show our purchases, or, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's
Just keep it
that.
upbeat.
Yeah, kind of upbeat too. Yeah, I did a lot of fabric hauls when we were in Tucson, Arizona. And I think my husband was really regretting me not being able to bring my scraps at least because we went shopping and he was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So we got back right at the beginning of May. So for the next little while, there's going to be videos from Tucson and videos from Alberta, and everything's going to be mixed up. But yeah, like my husband was probably really regretting that. Like, wow, I should have let her brought some scraps because this is insane. So, why did you start quilting? Why and when did you start quilting there, Mona?
I started quilting a couple years ago. My brother wanted a denim quilt for Christmas. I had never
Oh,
made a quilt before, knew nothing about quilting. So and he wanted it bizarre, actually. He wanted all the pants sewn together in all different directions. So I did that, which I hated. So then I did a second one where I cut the jeans all in the same size squares, but then I took pockets in all different parts of the jeans and put them all over the squares, going all wild, and did that for him. And I did that as quilt as you go because I didn't know how to quilt. I didn't know how to
yeah.
even put a quilt through a machine.
And those denim quilts are heavy. Oh,
Yes, I broke many, many needles and had some not very nice words,
yes, sometimes,
but
yeah.
I finished it and I told him, that's it. Don't ever ask for another one.
Yeah, because they're not only are they, like, especially if you do both sides with denim, I mean, it's like sewing through leather, right? Almost, because it's that heavy, thick, you're going over seams and your machine jams because it can't go over that. Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I've never
Yeah.
made one. I hear all sorts of, you know, horror stories about denim. So you took something on that was really challenging. Good for you on your
Yes.
first go out the door. Yeah.
And I
That's cool.
used Kaufman's flannel shirting for the backing, which is
Oh,
also heavy. And I put batting in it. So by the time we were done, I couldn't even lift it.
oh my goodness.
Barely. I really got a workout from that thing, let me tell you. And I swore, I said, that's it. I'll never make another quilt again. But then when I gave it to him for Christmas, the way he reacted, I'm like, oh, well, this isn't so bad. I'll try something, but not in denim. So
Yeah.
that's what started me on my way.
Yeah, I did. a quilt as you go king size quilt for my older brother on my 301A, my mom's 301A. I was laying down taking a nap in between those long rows when you sew it all together when you're joining up those long columns. I was like, okay, yeah, this is not working out. I was like, it took me days to get that part done. But yeah. So why did you start a YouTube channel?
It was my daughter's idea, and she says, "Mom, you might as well go on YouTube." Because I was forgetting stuff and writing stuff down. She goes, "This way you can watch your video. So if you forget how to do it, you can go back." So I just started doing it. It
And
was all my little teen daughter's idea.
it's interesting though to, for someone who is just starting to learn how to quilt, sharing that journey. What a special time, to be sharing because you've got there's so many different techniques on how to do, let's say, half square triangles, right? And you can share all of that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, what a wonderful journey you're taking your subscribers on, really.
My first half square triangles were horrible. They started out this big and I just couldn't get how to square them. So then they ended up down here. I know how to square them now, but I mean, it took a lot of practice and practice. And
Yeah, I tell people that all the time because we're doing we just did a filmed a block where it was all half square triangles, and it's the stitch plate too that you're using, right? Because what happens is when you're feeding that skinny little end, it goes down the mouth of your stitch plate. Well, if you change your stitch plate to the hole, the tiny little one hole, it doesn't go down
yeah,
as
that's
off,
what I
it
have.
doesn't go down. And then to lift your foot to push the fabric as close to the needle as you can before you start also helps, not having it sucked down. But yeah, just having just those two little things, yeah, it's still hard to make a half square
Yeah.
triangle unless you're doing a lot of, like you say, a lot of practice, right? So yeah, but so who's your favorite quilt person?
Beverly McCullough from Flamingo Toes.
Oh yes, okay, yeah,
Yes, I'm doing her. Well, this sew along's over, but I'm still working on it. It's afternoon tea, the
okay.
teapots and the little cups. That's what I'm working on.
Oh,
And I
very,
just love that fabric.
very cool. Very cool. I grew up watching Kay Woods on the TV with my mom and grandmothers. And yesterday, for the life of me, or the other day for life, I could not think of this woman's name, and until much later, is Eleanor Burns, the boa, the quilt in a day boa lady, where
Right.
she takes stuff and she just pitches it over her shoulder when she's, her scraps, her little scraps and cutoffs, just throws it on the floor over. What a wonderful way to just, yeah, we're done. We don't need that anymore, right? It's all good. Just pitch it on the floor, sweep it up later. It's all good. Um, do you have any so-longs or collaborative works coming up on your channel?
Um, at the moment, no, but in the future, yes. We're still finishing up the cup of love. I still have to make my quilt sandwich and all that.
Yeah.
And then we have this ice pop or pop cake or something we're gonna do. But we've decided to put that off to fall and just kind of do smaller projects throughout the summer that we can all just kind of make and not
Yeah.
have a schedule. So just to have more time off in the summertime.
Yeah, I think too, everybody was itching here in Canada to get out to their garden. And the weekend where we're filming this, this is where you would be planting your garden this weekend coming up, right? Because this is Victoria Day long weekend. Yeah. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's that time where everybody's out in their gardens. And it's like, yeah, okay. So are you interested in doing collaborations?
Yes, I've
Yeah.
done some already, but they just ended. I was on Rita's Roost and the Awkward Quilter. We did a collaboration and we did a block a week sew along.
Oh, very cool.
So yeah, and there was 20 blocks,
Oh,
but I
wow.
didn't get all mine done. But I
Yeah.
got a lot of them done, enough for a throw.
Well, that's sometimes too, that's, like, that's what you can do. That's what you can do. It's all good, right? So when a viewer tunes in to your channel, what kind of things are they expecting there? Or like what kind of things would they be looking for or expecting from your channel?
Uh, I would say something that's not perfect. I'm not an expert at anything. I just like to sew and I like to have fun. So that's what I do. And you'll see me, like, I cut my finger one day. I'm constantly getting out the seam ripper and I just keep it light and airy
Yeah,
and, try and keep everything positive and just have fun. And then if I make a mistake, I show it. Now, sometimes on my videos, I will cut out the part of me redoing the whole thing and I'll
yeah,
tell them, I had to redo this,
yeah,
and my points aren't perfect. And, sometimes my lines are wonky, but I finish it and it's done.
yeah. And
So,
done
and
sometimes
I'm
is
just
better than
learning
perfect. Yeah.
because in
Uh,
the last sew along we did, I had never done, oh, now I can't think of the name, a churn dash. I had never done a churn dash before. In fact, when I first started, I was just sewing stuff together and kind of putting whatever looked good together. I had no idea what any of them were called.
yeah,
I was just sewing pieces of fabric together. Now I'm starting to learn what they are, but
yeah.
I don't know the terminology. And sometimes I'll be talking on how to do something and my brain will freeze and I won't know the word and I'll just go the thingamajiggy.
Yeah, that's mine. Yeah. I've been there too, done that. Yeah. Several times actually.
So yeah, it's just a very laid back channel. It's, not professional. I don't ever expect to be professional. I do plan on getting better at my quilting as I go, hopefully.
Yeah.
I think I've made a big progress, but there's always something else to learn. So,
Oh
and if
yeah.
something doesn't fit, I just make it fit. So
Yeah, that's another thing too. We forget to teach how to ease in a block, right? Like to create, putting the bigger piece on the bottom and let the sewing machine, the feed dogs do the
right.
thing for us. Like we forget to teach that. And sometimes it's like, yeah, sometimes your blocks doesn't matter, even if you square them all up to, 8.5 inches, you're gonna end up easing some blocks in because they're
Right.
not 8.5 inches, right? So yeah, I mean, yeah, that's
Yeah, and the one quilt I made, one of the rows was shorter and I didn't notice it until the end. So I just cut a piece of fabric that I had left over and filled that spot, sewed it in there, and then put a label on there so it looked like it belonged when it really didn't.
yeah,
But that was for me. I don't sell my quilts or anything. I just make them and give them away. So,
yeah, I know.
and I
Yeah,
don't make that many.
you
I
made a
mostly make
design
bags.
amendment. You adjusted the design to suit your needs. Yes,
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. So, do you have a scheduled videos, or do you have so many per week, or so many a month, or how
I
often
have
are you
lives
dropping?
every week. I just changed my live schedule. I was going live every Friday, but some of the ladies that subscribers come on and sew with me live on my lives. So we decided that Mondays would be better. So I go live Monday afternoon and then Wednesday early evening at 7. So I have those every single week. And then sometimes I'm going to do lives every other Friday instead of every Friday.
Yeah.
And then I try and put out videos whenever I make something new or what I'm doing. And then
Yeah.
I'll sit here all day and sew and just have YouTube running, watching everybody else and just go about my business.
I go to too many sew dates, and I have too many things on the go. Like today in my sewing room, you get one clean view, and that view is not pretty. It looks like, oh dear. It's kind of one of those things, yeah. So when you're talking about doing your quilting, I know you're new, but so you're still kind of feeling your way around, but what kind of fiber artist do you feel that you're becoming? Like whether it's traditional, modern, scrappy, you know,
I like vintage things and I also love scrappy. I love just sitting here and just taking whatever's left and just sewing it any old which way. I love doing that because you don't have to think and it's just so much fun. You never know what you're going to come up with. You'll say, oh, well, I'll put this here. And so it really makes an interesting design.
yeah, yeah, that's true. That's yeah, the I like doing I'm finding I'm doing a lot of crumb quilting lately, right? Because I it's always a good palette cleanser or a refresher just to okay, just let some ideas flow and you just, you're pushing fabric through and yeah, and I have my idea book and beside me open with a blank page and all of a sudden I'll start drawing blocks and then the crumbs sit for a bit and my place looks like chaos but anyway it's fine. But yeah, so that's cool to know. So do you have any quilt show experience?
None. Never been
None?
to one.
No, you've never been to one? No.
No. I have watched some on YouTube, people that walk around and showing you. So that was nice. And
Yeah,
I do go to the our local fair and I go in the sewing building and and look at everybody's stuff
yeah,
and all the animals, but no, that's it. I'm pretty much home a
yeah.
lot.
Well, especially too if you're, you have some immune compromised issues. Yeah, going to quilt shows, they're busy, especially the first day, like that first few hours that they're open. I mean, they're crazy busy, right? So, yeah, I hear you. Yeah, and it's kind of leery. I know about you too, but I'm still kind of leery in big crowds, you know,
Yeah.
kind of,
Well, I sometimes have panic attacks, so
yeah, I'm
big
not
crowds are
good.
not good. They're not my friend.
You know those movies that show people walking in New York City in the downtown core where, it's just like, six across, seven across coming towards you? Those those films cause anxiety in me. I would panic. I would just like, oh my God. So out of all the quilting that you have done and the blocks and all the stuff, tell us a story about your most memorable quilt moment or your most memorable quilt that you made. It doesn't have, it can be happy or sad, it's up to you, right? But what was your most
Well, it's a little
memorable?
of both.
Okay.
I made a FPP elephant. I think it was Viola Craft. I had never done FPP before.
Oh,
Um,
yes. Yes, I know which
um,
elephant you're talking about too.
One of the channels on YouTube was having a sew along, so I did that, and I was amazed that I got it finished. I was so happy. Everything I thought turned out perfect. There was a few hiccups and stuff,
Yeah.
but I got it all done. I got it hung on the wall. My daughter comes in, that piece is wrong. Well, then I couldn't leave it. It was um the tail was supposed to somehow I put grass on the tail or something. I don't know.
Okay.
But
Yeah, all
old
right.
Hawkeye Haley found it right away. So that was very disappointing. So, and when I tried to take it apart to fix it, I ended up making more of a mess than anything. So I ended up taking the whole section and redoing it. So it's done, but I've never quilted it or anything. As soon
Yeah,
as I
well, at
got it
least
done,
you
I
caught it. At least you caught it before you quilted it and bound it. I was that,
well,
yeah,
I wouldn't have cared then because it would have been finished.
I was doing a speaking engagement and I always get paid by they let me stay for the show and tell, right? So I was at the show and tell and on Zoom and this lady was getting her friends to hold this up for her and she was going to explain what this quilt was. And from Zoom, because you're standing at a distance, you could see she put instead of her block going this way, went this way, and it should have been this way. And I decided, oh my gosh, oh that poor woman, she's gonna see it. So she kind of walks away from it, looks at it, and you could just see the look of horror on her face. I was hoping that one of her friends would just take her aside, straighten her crown, and say, "Okay, we'll take this home and fix this. Don't worry about it." But she had this all beautifully quilted and beautifully bound, and it's just like, and that one block the wrong way. I was like, oh my God. But yeah, she did a gorgeous job of the quilting. It was just amazing, right? But I was like, this is terrible. But yeah. Okay. Where or what do you want your channel to be doing in 2 years?
Pretty much the same thing, just sewing with people I've met on YouTube, subscribers, and having fun.
Yeah, that's right. That's actually a really good, yeah, just as long as it's fun. I don't know how you feel about this. I worked and I retired and I don't want another job, right?
No.
So yeah, it has to stay fun. Otherwise, it's not worth
And
it's
I enjoy learning too, learning new
yes.
things. So
Yeah, that's always so great too when you can learn a new technique or a new method or I still struggle every once in a while sewing with the stiletto to do like
I don't use
tiny
those.
piecing. Yeah, like I just, you know,
I have one, but I don't use it.
well, my husband got me a really nice one, nice weight to it and everything to hold, and I just like, yeah, I gotta sit down and just practice with it. So, but anyways, yeah, but it's a really nice tool to have. Okay, what is your favorite tool that you use?
Steam River.
Yeah, yeah, isn't that a favorite? I think I don't know how many quilters I've talked to, and they pull out their stitch ripper. We all dread the day of having to use it, but we all make mistakes and we have to know how to use it. So it becomes our favorite tool. It's like our, what is it? The eraser for fabric.
Yes.
I kind of like to, yeah, it's my favorite tool too. Right, actually, is my favorite tool. So what tips do you give beginners? What tip would you give a beginner?
Don't give up. It, it's not going to be perfect. If it is, you're lucky. And just keep trying and have fun.
Yeah, that's
It,
right. Yeah. And any last words of encouragement to everybody that's viewing?
no matter what your skill level, you can always connect with somebody else that's quilting and have a good time. You might have one that knows a lot, one that knows a little, but you can still come together and do something great.
Yes, they're very, very true. Very, very true. Anyways, Mona, that wraps up all my questions. If anything else you've got to say that you'd like to say to everybody? No?
Yes, thank you very much for having me on your show.
And thank you for agreeing to come because it was kind of, I'm always so happy when people agree. Right? It's like it's just so neat, that and I think too, like I did watch your channel and I was like, gee, it'd be interesting to meet her. It would be interesting to meet her. And then you join our group and I was like, gee, it'd be interesting to meet. Well, okay, no, just reach out and say hi. you know, go say, some things and start asking questions. That's perfect. But anyway, so everybody, you guys take well that are watching and go check out Mona at Mona Did What on her channel. Now, her YouTube channel is going to be in our show notes below. So everybody take care, stay well until we meet again. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.